I never planned to be the guy who painted a gate just to prove a point. But somehow, here I was, standing at the edge of my property, gripping a paintbrush, staring down a woman who claimed she owned the rules of the entire street. I moved to Crestwood Pines for peace. After 2 decades as a paramedic in Denver, I wanted space, quiet, and sky. I found a 10-acre spread just outside the city. No HOA, no restrictions, no nosy neighbors. At least, that's what the deed said. My name's Logan Pierce. I bought the property after my divorce, hoping to rebuild something steady and mine. The place needed work, but it had soul-wide fields, weathered fence lines, and an old barn that still stood proud in the wind. Life was good until Linda Stroud showed up. She first appeared in a beige Subaru, clipboard in hand, and an expression like she'd sucked on a lemon. I was laying gravel at the time, shirt soaked with sweat. She didn't say hello. She didn't ask if I was the new owner. She just launched in, "This perimeter fence is too tall. You'll need to submit a modification request." I blinked at her. "Ma'am, I don't think this is part of any HOA." She narrowed her eyes, lips twitching. "The Crestwood Preservation Committee oversees all exterior changes within this boundary." I stared. "What committee?" She waved her clipboard. "You'll be receiving notices. Check your mailbox." Then she drove off, leaving behind the faint scent of lavender and rage. At first, I laughed it off. Some overly eager retiree, I thought. But then the letters started coming. Unmarked envelopes shoved under my door. Violation, notice unauthorized paint color. Final warning, improper mailbox height, urgent non-compliant gate design. My gate newly built, sturdy, safe was apparently the wrong shade of crimson. I ignored them. Then came the early morning knocks, first at 6:45 a.m., then again the next day. Always Linda, always with a new complaint. My dog Bear, a gentle mutt with a bark worse than his bite, grew to hate the sound of her tires. I finally snapped when she sent 2 teen boys with a measuring tape to survey my porch without asking. I confronted them, demanded to know who sent them. The HOA. One mumbled, "Ms." Stroud said to check for encroachments. I called my realtor, checked my title again. No HOA. None. The property wasn't under any jurisdiction except the county. I even pulled zoning maps. Still, Linda insisted. One afternoon, she brought back up 2 men in polo shirts with matching logos, Crestwood Preservation Authority. They filmed my house. I stepped outside, held up my phone. "This is harassment," I said. Linda hissed, "You'll regret this." That's when I decided to fight back with red paint. I went to the hardware store and picked the loudest, most obnoxious red they had. Firestorm Crimson. Then I painted that gate from top to bottom while blasting Johnny Cash. Bear sat nearby, like a sentry. My niece Riley, a film student crashing with me for the summer, filmed it all and posted it with the caption, "When HOA Karen meets a country boy with receipts." The video blew up. Within days, strangers from other states were cheering me on. I thought that'd be the end of it. But Linda didn't back down. She went nuclear. 2 nights later, someone dumped trash across my driveway. My fence was tagged with rule breaker. Bear's doghouse was egged. I installed cameras. Riley stayed up editing her video while I double-checked every door and window. Then came the letter certified. Bold font, threatening legal action for attempted vehicular assault. I was stunned. Turns out, she claimed I nearly ran her over with my tractor. She had video of herself stepping in front of the moving tractor as I slowly reversed hauling lumber. The video looked dramatic. She screamed. I braked hard. Nothing touched her. But she sold it like it was murder. She called the sheriff. Sheriff Glenn Cartwright, a man with the patience of a saint and the mustache of a cowboy, came out, reviewed the footage, reviewed my documents. He stood beside my red gate and said, "Mr. Pierce, you're in the clear. This woman's got no authority here, and frankly, if she steps on this land again, she'll be trespassing." Linda overheard. She turned redder than the gate. "I will sue," she shrieked. For trauma, Glenn tipped his hat. Try it. For a while. It got quiet. Too quiet. Then one morning, I found the gate open. Bear was still safe, but there were tire tracks across my yard. Fresh ones. My cameras had been wiped, memory cards gone. Riley was rattled. I was furious. Glenn told me to be on alert. She's not just mad. She's losing control. I didn't sleep much that week. Neither did Bear. Then it happened. 6:14 a.m. The sound of metal crashing. I ran outside barefoot, coffee sloshing. The gate was gone, splintered, torn from the hinges, and in the center of the pasture sat a yellow bulldozer, still idling. The scoop was down, as if bowing in mockery. I froze. Riley was filming. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered. She zoomed in on the logo, Treadmax Rentals. I called Glenn. He arrived in 10 minutes, deputies in tow. The bulldozer had been rented under Linda Stroud's name, charged to the so-called Preservation Committee. It wasn't even a real HOA, just a fake front Linda created to control the neighborhood. We filed a report. Riley posted the proof. The video exploded. Locals started sharing stories, how Linda fined them for sunflowers, porch swings, a kid's basketball hoop. One woman said Linda demanded she repaint her shed 3 times in 1 year. We weren't alone. That's when Dolores Monroe stepped in. An 80-year-old widow with binoculars and a reputation for knowing everyone's secrets. She showed up at my door with a shoebox of documents and a smirk. "Thought you'd want the original boundary maps." Linda's been faking them for years. I opened the maps and nearly cried. My land, nowhere near HOA jurisdiction. Glenn verified them the next morning. "This is it," he said. "This is your silver bullet. We sued property damage, harassment, impersonation of a legal entity." Riley edited together a full video docu-series, The Gate War. Overnight, we went from angry ranchers to national headlines. Linda was investigated. Her board dissolved. Turns out, she used neighborhood dues collected under false pretenses to fund her little crusade, including the bulldozer. She was charged with fraud, trespassing, and impersonation of a municipal officer. At the final court hearing, I stood in front of the judge. Riley filming discreetly from the back. Linda wouldn't meet my eyes. Her lawyer read a statement. "My client regrets her actions." I looked at her and said, "You didn't want compliance. You wanted control. But this isn't your land." It never was. The judge ruled in our favor. She had to pay restitution. The fake HOA was dissolved. Riley's video was archived by a civil liberties nonprofit. Glenn got a commendation. I got a new gate. bigger, redder. We named it Phoenix Red. People started honking as they passed, waving. Some left flowers. 6 months later, the gate still stands. The paint's faded, but not the message. I sit on the porch now, coffee in hand, bare at my feet. Peace finally returned. Not because I yelled, not because I fought dirty, but because I stood my ground and painted my gate the color I damn well pleased.